My abusive parents tried to rewrite history when I became successful, so I planned the perfect revenge but chose something better. Ever since I was a kid, my mom made it clear that if my dad showed me any kindness, all hell would break loose. I remember being 9 when Mom yelled at me for eating too much at dinner. I looked at Dad hoping he'd defend me. "Honey, don't you think you're being unreasonable?" he said. Mom stormed off without letting him finish. That was the last time Dad ever tried to be nice to me. When I was 12 and got dirt on my shoes, Dad beat Mom to the punch. "Son, you're almost a teenager and still haven't learned how to stop being worthless." I saw Mom smile hugely and hug him, whispering, "Good job." I realized then, our family was about Mom's happiness, not about me. As I got older, the yelling turned to violence. Every time Dad did something wrong, he'd make it up to her through me, trashing my room or forcing me to clean the house at 4 in the morning. One day while using Mom's phone as a calculator, I saw a text notification. "You looked so good last night." I read their entire chat and showed Dad the evidence of her cheating. His hand met my face aggressively. "How dare you go through your mother's phone?" But things changed after that. Dad started making eye contact again, became quieter during fights, hit me less. It was around then that I moved out for college and went no contact with Mom. Fast forward 4 years, I'm 23 with an engineering degree, solid job, and nice car. Dad invited me to Thanksgiving. When I arrived, he greeted me with a hug, the first since childhood. During dinner, when Mom started her old controlling behavior about my elbows on the table, Dad said, "He's not a kid anymore. We don't have to do that stuff." Mom muttered, "I knew you never loved me," under her breath. Something clicked in Dad's brain, pulled out his phone showing Mom photos. "Remember when I bought you this? What have you ever done for me?" Then came his revelation. "You've only ever loved me when I hurt our son." Mom opened her mouth to respond, but Dad just left. I followed him to his car where he apologized, words I'd waited my entire life to hear. But behind my smile was something darker. The apology was too little, too late. I was going to make them both pay. I started collecting evidence, screenshots of old texts, emails where Mom called me worthless, even a video I'd secretly recorded at 17 when she threw a plate at my head for getting a B in chemistry. I created a private Instagram account, organized everything with timestamps, and reached out to people from my past who'd witnessed the abuse. My plan was to expose everything to Mom's employer, church group, book club, our entire family, everyone who'd bought into her perfect mother act. But when I called Dad to warn him, his response threw me off. "I understand. You have every right to tell your story. If this is what you need to heal, do it." He even asked if I could mention he was in therapy now, not to excuse his actions, but so he wouldn't lose his job. I sat staring at the draft email to 50 people, finger hovering over send. Then I realized I was still letting my parents control my actions. My revenge plan was still all about them. I was still defining myself in relation to them, still letting them dictate my emotional state. I wanted to be truly free, not just physically distant, but emotionally untethered. I deleted the email, made the Instagram private, and called my therapist. Over the following months, I cautiously rebuilt a relationship with Dad while maintaining no contact with Mom. He was genuinely working in therapy, acknowledging specific abuse, showing real remorse. When Mom had a breakdown and attempted suicide, I visited her in the hospital where she apologized for the first time in her life. Through her recovery program, Mom was diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder, borderline tendencies, and alcohol abuse. She stayed sober, continued therapy, and slowly we developed something that wasn't actively harmful. Last Thanksgiving, exactly 1 year after that disastrous dinner, we all had dinner together at a restaurant. No yelling, no crying, no storming out, just normal, boring dinner. It wasn't a fairy tale ending. My parents didn't magically become perfect. Our relationships will always carry scars, but they're relationships I choose now, on my terms, with firm boundaries. I still have that evidence folder as a reminder not of what I suffered, but how far I've come. The best revenge wasn't exposure or humiliation. It was building a life that wasn't defined by their abuse, finding my own path to healing, and demanding the respect I deserve.